How's it going, hippie sips and Mr. Misters? It's Julie, and we're doing a new thing on the channel called WxW Sunday Splash. If you know what WxW means, it's Project Week by Week, and we are doing a wrestling kind of content thing where we go over wrestling for the majority of the week from Monday to Sunday, and it's probably going to be every week. Try to make it every week. Try to get it out on Sunday, but you know what? Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with WWE, we have a lot of things going on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, as well as NXT being very loaded. We have Javon Evans signing his main roster contract to Raw. That right there, I am so excited for Javon Evans. Jay Malachi has been a highlight of NXT and DPW and basically any place he goes for the past like 3-4 years, and to see that he immediately gets signed up to Raw without even getting a championship, no less, in NXT for the 2 years he was down there, is telling of how strong the higher ups of WWE feel about him. Obviously, people like Triple H, John Cena, most of the older vets are feeling very highly on him, but you know, it continuously speaks to that. I think that if we have anything for him, like once we get him fully like established in the roster, and once we get him like fully set up in like probably like the mid card for like a couple of bits, I feel like he could really give Dominic Mysterio a couple of really good matches. Dominic Mysterio versus Javon Evans, AJ Styles versus Javon Evans, Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans. A lot of high flyer versus high flyer, and even in that same route, like with the Last Time Is Now tournament, Gunther versus Javon Evans. Those kind of matches are really good because Javon is just an overall really good wrestler. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I hope WWE don't necessarily fuck it up, you know? Moving on, we also have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky becoming women's tag team champions, defeating Kabuki Warriors. I am. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. I think that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, the little lovers triangle thing that they're doing between them, is very cute. I am very excited to see where this puts the women's tag belts in terms of hierarchy on the card, because Rhea and Io are both main eventers, and if we're really looking at it, the last like three champions have all been like tag wise have like consisted of like 90% main eventers. I guess you could make the claim that Kairi Sane is not a main eventer, but like of the last like 6 women to hold that title, 5 of them have been women's champion. So I mean, you're doing some good stuff for the women's tag title. The women's tag team is becoming a bit more of a prestigious arena, with like stuff like Lash Legend and Nia Jax doing good work on SmackDown, and Charlotte and Alexa being the best thing going in the division as of right now, outside of Rhea and Io. I think this is good. I think this is going to be good. I said it before, I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but I think that if anything is to be parsed from this, we have new life breathed into this, and maybe this leads to the like disillusion of Rhea and Io as a tag team. Maybe like a heel turn comes in, like a la Rhea and, was it Liv? It was Rhea and Liv, and then it was also Rhea and like Nikki ASH, like Nikki Cross. I have to look into that, but I think that this is gonna be very interesting. I enjoy it. We also have Becky Lynch defeating Maxine Dupree. I don't like this. I will be one of the few people who say that they don't like this. I may be in the minority, but I think Maxine Dupree having that title because she legitimately beat Becky Lynch twice is something that should have been more heavily focused on, and catapulted Maxine up to a higher point in the lower mid card division. Could have had decent matches with like Lyra and Bailey and all that. Could have had, heck, you could have had Alexa go after that, because technically speaking, she is a Raw. Is she on Raw? I think she's on Raw. I think that Maxine being champion was a good thing, because obviously getting off of Becky was a good thing. But then again, having Maxine be that champion could have really elevated her as well as elevating the rest of the division. I don't know. I don't think Becky needs it again unless she's trying to do this thing where she constantly gets it off of these people that she loses it to and uses it to like elevate the entirety of the women's division. But I don't think Becky needs the belt to do that. I feel like Becky is at a point where like she could just easily just be somebody who challenges for it, and her by proxy of challenging for the title makes it feel more legitimate. You know, that could just be me. We also have AJ Styles and Gunther's confrontation. Ooh, this segment right here got me all kinds of worked up, because do you see how hard this man smacks Gunther? Do you see how hard this man smacks Gunther? Oh my god, it is beautiful. It is a thing of beauty. And the face-to-face, the head-to-head, the kissing, that was great. That was great. I can't wait for this match. I can't wait to see where this match goes. And I know this is probably AJ's last full year of competition, but other than that, I think this is probably my match of whatever it's going to be. Is this going to be Royal Rumble? If it is, then that's damn unfortunate, but you know, we do what we do. Then we have CM Punk defeating Braun Breaker. No one expected any different. No one did. I don't think anybody in their right mind looked at Braun Breaker and CM Punk being the main event of a Monday Night Raw. It was like, yeah, we're gonna have Punk lose this title to Braun. Mainly because they've been trying to do this Punk Seth thing for like 3 years now. It's been like since Royal Rumble 23, where Punk came back, or Punk official. I think it was Royal Rumble 23. No, it was Royal Rumble 24, because this is his second full year, I think. No, because it was Royal Rumble 23 that he came back, right? I think, I can't remember the dates. I'll put the dates up somewhere. But it was like a Royal Rumble 23 where he officially, like, you know, came back into competition. Then 24, where he was trying to win it over Cody, Seth thing, for the longest time. And like at every point for Mania, it has gone in a different direction than what they want. Stay hydrated, folks, because either Punk gets injured or Seth gets injured or something along those lines happen, and then they test to fade again by making Seth Rollins fake an injury, only to get really injured a month later. You know, great storytelling there. I say that like it's Seth's fault. It's not. I feel very off with this entire storyline. I wish they would just like scrap it, because Seth and Punk, just via the universe's own admission, it's not trying to happen. Very little happens on NXT. It was New Year's Evil. There was like 4 matches that happened. They had a bunch of in-ring segments, like Thea Hale getting attacked by Blake Monroe getting kicked out of the building because of that. That does lead to an open challenge by Thea Hale, where Thea Hale loses her championship to Izzy Dame. Mind you, the same Izzy Dame that earlier in the card, I think the very first match of the card, lost to Tatum Paxley. So if this is how we get Tatum Izzy 3 sometime in the future, where Tatum wins the NXT North American Women's Championship, I'll be all for it. I think that Izzy Dame definitely deserves some level of accolade or recognition for her work. However, I don't think it should have been at the expense of Thea Hale. I know the pin was controversial, and we had a bunch of people saying that you know, oh, Thea shouldn't be working, or it's a botch pit and therefore it's Thea's fault, as though she's not like 88 pounds and like Blake Monroe could very easily kick out if she didn't miss timing. You know, it was just a mess up all around. We shouldn't punish Thea Hale for that the way I feel like they're about to. But that's that. Later on the card, we had JC Jane versus Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray loses. It's standard fare. But the big one is Obafemi versus Leon Slater. This was a good match, and there was a hell of a crucifix pin that I'm pretty sure that everyone knew was a 3, but the ref himself slow counted on the 3 because it feels like a 3. It feels like it should be a 3, but it's not for some reason. And the whole crowd bid on it. I bid on it. Me and my friends all watched it. Like, there's no way that we're about to do this. And Obafemi wins. He retains with a nice fall from grace. But it's what happens afterwards, as Ava is talking to like some of the call-ups from Evolve and everything, that what's his name? Something Stone, the Max Stone brand, something like that. Robert Stone brand or something like that. That guy comes in. It's like, Ava, have you seen what happens? And we come back in, and Obafemi has relinquished the NXT Championship. That is, oh, you know, I'm not a fan of the way that NXT is getting poached right now, because you had Javon Evans, you had Jordan Grace, you have Obafemi. It looks like Blake Monroe is also getting called up to the main roster, and like, these are your heavy hitters. These are the people that you would think would be champion by the time they were, by like, you know, with the time frame that they have. You know, Obafemi was champion. Like, Javon Evans should have been champion. Like, Jordan Grace definitely should have been a champion, and Blake Monroe was a champion. But like, if this is to be believed, there's a real opportunity. There's a real issue to be had, because what happens if Blake Monroe was champion during New Year's Evil during this whole call-up thing? Like, does she drop it then, and then you have a whole bunch of new titles and everything, and this is how Izzy Dane gets it? Like, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. I am happy for Obafemi, but I am really concerned about the NXT men's division, because it was already kind of struggling with Trick being gone, with Javon being called up, with Oba being like the forever champion, and not having a bunch of credible contenders. The only one that really like comes to mind right now is Tony D'Angelo, and Tony D'Angelo being a credible contender would have worked if Obafemi was still champion, because Tony D'Angelo is the one who took the NXT North American Championship off of him. So it could have been a nice thing of Tony D'Angelo being like Oba's boogeyman type thing, but we'll never get to see that happen. So there's that. Moving on to SmackDown, Trick Williams makes his second week, I wouldn't say debut, like appears for the second week in a row post call up, air quotes, and he interrupts Randy Orton, which is really fun to see, because they're already putting Trick Williams in a position to kind of like rub up against the higher talent to see what's good, and he actually held his own. I think that was a pretty good segment overall. I don't think too much of the newcomer comes up and makes his name against the veterans angle, because 9 times out of 10 with WWE, they'll just have the veteran just completely outclass him, and like, it shows the rookie was too stupid to do that, you know, all this other stuff. But I think Trick Williams is enough of a mainstay talent that where he can get this interruption of Randy Orton and kind of work with it. Also, Jordan Grace is confronted by Jade Cargill in this, and oh boy, I will pay for this match. Not at Royal Rumble, because that is a blood money match, but I will pay for this match, because that seems like a match made in heaven. Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill, they're both being like physical powerhouses. This is just gonna be a Hoss-S fest. Yes. Nothing really else happens outside on SmackDown, outside of the big thing, which is Drew McIntyre is your new WWE champion after escaping the cage with air quotes help from Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu came in and wrecked house on the return, where he beat the hell out of Drew, but he also, because Cody wanted more Drew, like turned Jacob around. Cody turned Jacob around, and Jacob just went to town on him as well, like causing Drew to be able to escape with it. I don't know if they're setting this up as a triple threat between Drew, Cody, and Jacob, where Jacob finally gets a chance at the title, which, you know, if that's the case, good job on Jacob. I think he deserves it. But overall, I was surprised about this, and this kind of goes back to my original point about CM Punk and Braun Breaker, where I was saying that, did you really think a world title was going to change on a Raw, where the world title changes on SmackDown? So that's that. Overall, I'd say this week in WWE has been rather high impact title wise, but storyline wise, it's been rather mid. Like, there are some high notes that could be there, but I think that's just about it. Moving on to AEW. It's really short news. Jim Ross returned to the announcer desk. Jake Doyle, formerly known as Jake Something in TNA, debuts on AEW and joins the Don Callis family. And Andrade Alito returns to AEW after getting the resolution to his no-compete clause with WWE. Basically, nothing really happens on Dynamite, nothing really happens on Collision. Moxley and Shelton Benjamin have a Continental Classic match, well, Continental title eliminator match, but other than that, nothing really of importance happens. Nothing really storyline-wise progresses too deeply. So we'll just move straight on. New Japan has had some very fun moments. We have the entirety of the Wrestle Kingdom happening, which titles galore. We have Shota Umino re-signing with New Japan, extending his contract by a year. That's going to be good. I think Shota Umino is probably one of the next highlights of New Japan, post Yota Tsuji, post David Finlay and all that. I feel like he is like the next big thing for New Japan. I think him re-signing is only going to be good things for him. There's also reports that WWE is looking to pull David Finlay after his New Japan contract expires, which I don't know how to feel, because every time WWE poaches New Japan talent, it doesn't go well. And I know the answer to that is going to be, oh, but what about AJ Styles? AJ Styles was already a main man before New Japan. He is a TNA legend. The Good Brothers were kind of main men, but like, you know, New Japan helped really bring them up. We don't talk about Finn, but like Shinsuke is an example of somebody with such high prospects and so little to show for it. Like, I just like, I don't know what it is, but every time WWE pulls a New Japan and pulls a New Japaner, it just doesn't work well. And I'm not gonna say that David Finlay won't do well, but I don't trust it. But moving on to Wrestle Kingdom, we're going to go over the entirety of the Wrestle Kingdom card here, because, oh boy, was this a banger. TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel, won the Never Openweight Championship after beating both No Leg and Bishamon in a Never Openweight 6-man tag match. Well, not match, but Rambo. Rambo? Somebody tell me how to pronounce that. But they won this Never Openweight 6-man tag championships. And Zack Sabre Jr. is a champion again. 6 months ago, he was New Japan World Heavyweight Champion. IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. But it's not how the mighty has fallen here. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is just winning titles because New Japan wants him to be a champion wherever they go. Moving on, Shuri defeats Saya Kamitani to become a dual champion, holding both the IWGP Women's Champion and the Strong Women's Championship. So, good job on Shuri. I'm surprised Saya lost that, but given how good Saya's year was, maybe they're trying to make Shuri this year the top Joshi. So, go ahead, get your back, Shuri. El Desperado wins the Fatal 4-Way to become the number one contender for IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. I don't remember who the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion is. I'll probably put it right here, just so that way, you know, everyone else remembers. Moving on, Jake Lee comes back from a hiatus and turns his back on BC War Dogs and sides with the I guess you could call it DCF, the Dog College family, in a sense. But like, it's more so just like he's just a rogue agent now. He like actually turns up later on in this event to do some massive damage, but you know, we'll get to that when we get to that. Aaron Wolf makes his wrestling debut and wins the Never Openweight Championship from Evil in a really good banger match. I have not seen anything of Aaron Wolf because I'm very in and out with New Japan as of this year, well, as of last year. And I think that Aaron Wolf has a very good presentation. He has a very, very snug wrestling style, which leads to a lot of good strong hits, but that's just New Japan style at this point. Yota Tsuji becomes the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion by defeating Konosuke Takeshita. And then on a side note, literally the day after this, he brings back the V4. The V4 Championship is now the V4 Championship is now the de facto IWGP Heavyweight Championship. They're bringing it back. They're reverting everything they've done over the last 3 years. The IWGP Intercontinental Championship is completely defunct, but they're still keeping the lineage of the World Heavyweight Championship in with V4 while backtracking. So overall good things. Yota Tsuji is an amazing wrestler. Konosuke Takeshita holding that title for I think the 6 months that he did well for him, even though he was more on AEW with it. And I don't know if I saw him a lot on AEW with that title. I feel like that should have been something that was more focused, you know. If anything else, then like why not like, you know, have that be a highlight of Takeshita. But either way, that match was really good. Takeshita tapped out. It was a good match overall. And probably leading to one of the best matches, which made one of my friends cry, funnily enough, where Kazuchika Okada retires for Hiroshi Tanahashi. And man, this match was good. It was good. It was beautiful. And Okada kind of went back to his little babyface thing where he did his full zoom out, his proper zoom out without the middle finger to like kind of pay respect to Tanahashi before putting him out to pasture. It was good. The ending celebration, which was like 45 minutes long, everybody celebrating, people like Omega and Ospreay all coming out to pay their respects and everything. It was a beautiful send off to a John Cena level Japanese wrestler. It doesn't mean he's really going anywhere. He's still the president of New Japan, but it was great. It was great, and I feel very, very happy that Tanahashi got a very good match as his final match, where it's very much the opposite to the controversy surrounding John Cena's retirement, where, like, you know, everyone's kind of like up in arms about him tapping out and everything. I think that this is going to go down as probably one of the best matches of this year already. That was 4 days into this year. And then onto the other ancillary promotions. We're going to have AJ Styles returning for TNA on their debut on AMC. That's going to be good. We always love to see AJ Styles make a return to his home promotion just for a little bit. And then we have Maki Ito signing with Stardom and getting her tracksuit too. That's going to be good. Maki Ito is one of my favorite Joshi wrestlers right now. It goes Azumi, Maki Ito, Mayu Iwatani, like that order. They are so good. I am so Joshi pilled, but it is. I love this, and I'm so happy to see Maki Ito get more shine and more love. And finally in the news, Saki Kashima is going to announce her retirement. Well, not announce her retirement, but has announced her retirement for All-Star Grand Kingdom. That will be her final match. She is retiring at the grand ripe old age of 33. And honestly, with the way that, you know, Japanese wrestling kind of goes and how people as a whole will, you know, kind of like put themselves into deeper waters than I feel like they need to. Saki Kashima is relatively young for where she's retiring, but all respect to her. I wish her the best of luck, and we will be tuning in for All Star Grand Queendom moving forward. You know, thank you, Saki Kashima. Much love, much respect. And that is going to do it for Sunday Splash. Thank you all for coming out. I hope to make this a mainstay on the channel. I love you all, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.